All right, let's mix some colors for that lemon. First, we're gonna start with the shadow. Thing about the shadows of the lemon is that they're quite low chroma, but they're not very low value. I mean, they're quite light, but it'd be good to arrive at a color like this, you know, that's low chroma and low value without using white. White's just gonna make it too opaque, and shadows look quite nicer when they're translucent, at least in my opinion. I don't like them reflecting too much light back. What I'm mixing right now is the core shadow, which leans a little bit towards red. There's something really red about the light in the studio right now. I guess it's because it's almost sundown. And when it's almost sundown, the sky that's seeping into the studio goes a little bit more red, as you all know. Now what I'm doing now is what you might call the midtone, and I'm trying to extend my reach with regards to not using white, even if in this color, if I can get away with it. I kind of like trying to do that because as it continues directly from the shadow, I like to create a sense of coherency. That looks like it's gonna too red. It's gonna be hard for you to judge in the photograph the way these colors look right now. As I'm looking at the model, it's surprising how red they are. Now I'm going towards the actual light mass and can't escape the fact that we're gonna need to add some white in here. Chroma is really popping, values increasing. Still surprisingly warm, surprisingly red, quite unlike how it would look like if I would have done it in the afternoon when it's mostly blue sky. Looks quite good to me. All right, now for the highlights. Again, seeing it almost has a pink hue to it. Whenever something like this happens, when you're seeing colors that are surprising you, you want to adopt it. You know, you want to incorporate it into the painting because you don't want to paint in a way that's schematic, that's just based on stuff you already know, right? That's not going to lead you to new discoveries. Now I kind of want to get two more midtones in there. One a little bit leaning towards green, and the other a little bit leaning towards red, just because I like having these two options if I need to turn the form. This low chroma greenish one's gonna come in handy, and we're gonna create a friend for him that's more on the red end of the spectrum. I'm running out of cadmium yellow over here, which means we're having a good day, because cadmium yellow is such a favorite color of mine. Yeah. These three colors should definitely sort me out when it comes to having my mid-tone in check. Now let's add another light one that's a little bit colder. Even though from what I'm gathering, I'm not gonna need to use it a lot because most of it is surprisingly warm, but just something to drop the chroma if I need to might come in handy. All right, very nice. Now let's quickly take care of some of the colors in the background. The backdrop's really easy, so I might not even need to mix it in advance, but let's kind of mix at least the table. High value, low chroma, gray, which leans a tad bit towards yellow. This is good for the slightly farther away area. The closer to us area is even lighter than that. I'm gonna give it a bit of a boost so it doesn't fully disappear on us in terms of chroma. That looks quite good. Now, in terms of the shadows, they're a little bit warmer. That looks about right. Maybe even, you know, have some chutzpah to add some cadmium into that mix. Now, before we hit this shadow, there's actually something quite interesting happening with a little bit of a a little bit of a blue nuance. So let's capture that. Probably can't see that at all in the photograph, but here in the studio it's quite evident. And the accent. Keep it simple. Some black, some alizarin crimson, and some trusty old cadmium red light. Should give us a nice little accent. All right, let's take a look. Let's mix maybe at least 2 colors for the backdrop. So the darkest areas of the backdrop are just quite deep blacks with something warm in them. So I'm gonna go for my trusty old alizarin crimson. And for the lighter areas, well, it's probably too much white. Whatever. Make it work. Just a little more opaque. Just a bit of red and a tad bit of cobalt blue. Something purpley going on there. So, but not so purple as to require me to use any purple pigment. Just gonna hint at that using red and blue. Feel like more red is needed here. Yeah, something along those lines. All right, fantastic. This should be enough to get this lemon done before sunset. Let's do it.